Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Students, now we are looking at the economics O levels, IGCSE, May-June 2020, and this is paper 22. So, in my previous videos, recent videos, I have started solving the papers of 2020. So, I gave the solutions of the mathematics paper and then the economics ES level MCQs. So now we are working on the paper 22 structured paper of the O levels, June 2020, and today in this video we are going to solve question number 1, data response. Yes, here we are looking at the case study or the data response which is given in this paper is very much familiar, the challenges facing Pakistan. And in the first Pakistan fact file, the figures of 2016 and 2017, they are given in dollars, US dollars, in billions. So what we are comparing, we are looking at the four indicators: exports of goods, uh, which is good sign increasing; imports of goods 47 to 61.7, that is alarming at times; government spending is increasing also, and consumer spending is increasing a lot from 259.3 to 294.8. So let's go and discuss this case study. It is about the Pakistan's economic challenges, and there are many in our economy right now. So these include responding to a rising population, which is a major concern basically. And there are different things given over here that Pakistani government is trying to increase the level of investment, trying to attract the foreign direct investment also. Just one thing we have to remember, that all the answers we are going to uh, write in this question has to be linked with the extract which is given over here. So in this extract, they are also talking about what the government is trying to do in Pakistan, trying to subsidizing entrepreneurs and charities to open low-cost schools because the literacy is really low. It wants to reduce the dropout rate from schools. Children joining their school, but after some time they have to leave in order to support their families, or maybe they are involved in the child labor as well. It's not a good sign. So the government is trying to help these poor children. So all these things are discussed in detail, and improved education, what will be the benefits, means skilled labor workers, maybe increase in the economy. And then there is a very interesting table given over here, which is called as table 1, GDP per head and imports per head in the selected countries in 2017. So have a look at this table. Different countries are given: Norway, UK, South Korea, Russia, Mexico, Pakistan, and Haiti. And then GDP per head is given and the imports per head. So it means that there should be a question which is going to be relating the GDP per head and the imports per head. It's also given over here that Pakistan has relatively high imports tariff. Revenue from the import tariff is 45% of the total tax revenue. It means that government is collecting a lot of tariff revenue, which up to some extent is not very good. You should have a good system of taxation, direct taxation. So here we go, students. Answer all the parts to question 1. Refer to the source material in your answers. So that is very important. Question number 1 is calculate Pakistan's trade in goods balance in 2017. Yes, if you refer to this table which is given, the exports of goods in 2017, as we are calculating, exports of goods is 25.2 and imports of goods 61.7. The formula is very simple. You just have to write the correct formula: exports of goods minus imports of goods, physical existence. Okay, so that those items are included when we calculate the trade balance. So here I have written question number 1A. We subtract 25.2 minus 61.7, we get minus 36.5. So that I have written in red: trade of balance or trade balance is exports of goods minus imports of goods. That is the basic formula, and we got the answer. The next question, part B, is identify two possible causes of demand pull inflation in Pakistan in 2017. So it was given in the extract that there was high consumer expenditure, and you can see that in 2017 it is increasing by a lot, and this will create demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation is the inflation which is because of the high aggregate demand as compared to the level of supply. So in my answers you can see that I have written high consumer expenditure, investment is also increasing, and that will also create high purchasing power of the people as their incomes are increasing. Then too many people chasing too few goods is one of the very good sentences related to the demand pull inflation. We are looking at part C now. Explain the opportunity cost to Pakistan of producing consumer goods. A straightforward answer can be lesser capital goods can be produced. Some of the other things which I have written in this answer, that people not appreciating the uh, married goods, uh, and that is one of the reasons why more is more is spent on the consumer goods. So the government basically not producing a lot of capital goods in the economy, and they're fulfilling the requirements of the people uh, of producing consumer goods only, which are used to satisfy the wants of the consumers. The next part is explain two reasons why education is a merit good. Here we should be writing that merit goods are those goods which are not appreciated by the consumers, people fully, and education is one of the things where the consumers may, all the people in the economy may not be giving the education its due importance. So merit goods are beneficial for the entire society. So the points which I have written over here is starting from here: people not appreciating the merit goods, may not give importance to the external benefits, and also may not appreciate the job creation which is done after getting good education. Productivity will also increase because your skillful labor will increase with the help of good education system and educational standards. So that's why it is considered, education is considered as a merit good, because people are not aware of the importance and the benefits and the external benefits which it can create. External benefits in a way that if a person is literate, he will teach others also and educate others. And as you know, one of the good ways to educate and help out people is using the YouTube channels and giving some valuable information to the students, and it will benefit uh, uh, many students all over the world. Next question we are going to look at is analyze why the children of poor uh, families tend to receive less education than the children of rich families. This is also a very straightforward question in which we can write down about the poor children may not uh, afford education, general education, and quality education. They will, it will be very difficult for them to afford also. Poor children may be involved in the child labor. Also, they are supporting their families, and there are also in Pakistan lack of low cost schools, for example, Low cost schools are the generally the government schools, and there are not enough government schools in all the countries. And when the children are poor, they will also may be ill, and because of illness many of them may remain absent for a period of time, and then their names will be cancelled out from the school register. Part F, analyze the relationship between GDP per head and imports per head. This is a 5 mark question. One of the very important question, high weightage question in these data response whenever you have to analyze the relationship. So if you score well in this question, chances are that you'll be getting a very good grade. GDP per head, what is it? Total GDP divided by the total population. Imports per head means the total imports and its value divided by the total population. So the answer, suggested answer, also I've written total imports divided by total population, which I think some of the students may not know that what is the import per head. In these analyze the relationship questions in the data response, we always have to give a generalization. So the table which is given, I'll show you that table also. Higher GDP means higher imports per head. That is supported by some of the countries. For example, Norway has the highest GDP per head and has the highest spending on imports per head also. Haiti, lowest GDP and also at the same time lowest expenditure on imports per head. That is, these two are basically supporting the generalization. And then there are some exceptional values, for example, Mexico and Russia. From the table, I'll show you that although Russia is spending, has a greater GDP, but still the imports per head is not that high. And also, people spending more on imports. Now we'll give the reason why. Because if the GDP is high, their earnings are high, they're earning more, and then uh, their living standards may rise, and they thought that if they use imported products, their uh, status will also enhance. So now we are going to look at the table one more time. Here you go. This is the table where we have like Norway. You can see GDP per head is the highest, 70,600, and imports per head is the highest, 14,472. So it is favoring the generalization that if the GDP per head is high, then imports per head will also be high. And look at Haiti, 1800, the lowest GDP per head and the lowest imports per head, that is 853. Exceptional values were Russia and Mexico. Russia is spending 27,000, is getting 27,900 GDP per head, but the imports per head is comparatively low. Haiti, although the GDP per head is very low, but still, and it is also spending low. So that was something else. Mexico we have to consider. Mexico is 19,500, and imports per head is still very high. So it means that it is going to be an exceptional value. Which one? Mexico. So compare Russia and Mexico, you will get the idea that they are not following the generalization. We are looking at part G, discuss whether or not the supply of teachers in Pakistan is likely to increase in the future. So it depends. This is a 6 mark question. So you can write 3 in favor and 3 against the statement. The statements, the points which I have written for this answer, question 1 part G, the supply of teachers may increase because of the high education standards. There will be more trained and skillful teachers may be available, and they think that there is a great reward also in this profession financially. Improved working condition means that the teacher's salary and the benefits are increasing, so there will be more people joining the profession. And increase in population is the third means that, anyways, there is an increase in population in Pakistan. The growth rate is very high, so chances are that many of the people who will be making the working population may join teaching. Other side, the teacher supply of teachers may not increase in Pakistan. Maybe there is a case of low wages in majority of the schools. Teachers may be migrating to China and some other countries, Dubai, UAE, for better prospects. And if there is a solid certification required for teaching, then the supply of teachers may also not increase in Pakistan, as there is chances are that the government of Pakistan is making sure that B.Ed is compulsory for teaching. Finally, looking at the last question, discuss whether or not an increase in its imports tariff would be likely to benefit the Pakistani economy, and this is for 6 marks. And already there's one thing we have discussed earlier, that increase in the tariff will benefit, uh, because the government is getting a lot of revenue from there. Lesser imports, these are the points in favor first. Lesser imports, trade deficit will decrease. It means that if you increase the tariff, the imports will become expensive, and that way imports will be discouraged. So you can, if you are in a deficit, Pakistan is in a deficit, has been in a deficit, so that deficit will reduce. Government collect more tax revenue, as we have discussed already, through tariffs, and infant and sunset industries get protection. If the tariffs are high, these newly established industries, or the industries which are really going badly, uh, performing badly, still they will have a chance to survive. Now, an increase in tariff will not benefit. Reason is that some imports may be used as important raw materials. You are getting it for production, and they may have inelastic demand. So if you increase the taxes on them, cost of production will increase. Other countries will also retaliate. If you increase tariff for them, they will also not buy your exports. If the incomes are increasing, people still buy the expensive imports, which is happening right now. That in cities the incomes are increasing, and even there is a lot of tariff, still people are getting crazier for the imports. So still they are buying it. Thank you, students. Tell about this YouTube channel, because more people, more students should get benefit of this. Thank you.